Ma'am, I need to check your electrical meter. There's been reports of power surges in this neighborhood. Those were the words that changed everything on that Tuesday afternoon in September. I'm Maggie White, 58 years old, retired after 25 years as a police detective in Phoenix. My husband Frank passed 3 years ago, and I'd moved to this quiet neighborhood in Tempe thinking I'd found peace. But peace has a funny way of being interrupted by people who think a woman living alone is an easy target. The man at my door looked official enough. Clipboard, uniform shirt, some kind of badge hanging from his belt. But 25 years of reading people had taught me something valuable. It's not what someone shows you that matters. It's what they try to hide. Have you ever had that gut feeling that someone was lying to your face only to discover they were planning something far worse than you imagined? Because what started as a simple door-to-door scam was about to become this predator's most expensive lesson in target selection. I really don't think we called about any electrical issues. I sat through their screen door, studying his body language, shifted weight, avoiding direct eye contact, fingers drumming on that clipboard. Classic nervous tells. It's just a routine inspection, ma'am. City ordinance. Won't take but 5 minutes. His smile was too practiced, too rehearsed, like he'd used that exact line dozens of times before. What he didn't know was that I'd been expecting someone exactly like him. 3 weeks earlier, my neighbor Dorothy had been visited by a technician matching his exact description. He talked his way inside, claimed her electrical panel needed immediate repairs, and convinced her to pay $800 cash for emergency work that was never done. Dorothy was 73, lived alone, and trusted too easily. When she told me about it over coffee, every instinct I'd developed in a quarter century of police work started screaming. This wasn't some isolated incident. This was a predator working a pattern. "Could you show me some official identification?" I asked, keeping my voice pleasant but firm. He fumbled with the fake badge, clearly hoping I wouldn't look too closely. "Like I said, ma'am, just need to check your meter real quick. It's right there on the side of your house." That's when I noticed the van parked across the street. No company logos, no official markings, just a beat-up white van with tinted windows. Amateur hour. But what he saw was a gray-haired woman living alone in a house too big for one person. What he expected was compliance, confusion, maybe a little fear he could exploit. What he was about to get was 25 years of experience dealing with people who thought they were smarter than everyone else. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me, a move that clearly surprised him. Most scared elderly women would stay behind locked doors or invite officials inside for safety. "Sir," I said, my voice taking on the tone I used to use with suspects who thought they were clever, "I'm going to give you 2 options." The tension in the air shifted. He stopped pretending to look at his clipboard and really looked at me for the first time. Option 1. You walk back to that van, drive away, and find a different line of work. I'll forget you were ever here. His face went through a series of micro-expressions: confusion, irritation, then calculation. I could practically see him thinking, "This old lady thinks she can intimidate me?" Option 2, I continued, "You keep trying to run this scam on me, and I'll make sure you face every consequence that's coming to you." That's when he made his first real mistake. He laughed. "Ma'am, I don't know what you think is happening here, but I'm just trying to do my job. Now, are you going to let me check your electrical system or not?" What he didn't notice was the small security camera my daughter had installed above the front door during her last visit. The one that was recording everything. The one that would soon make him famous in ways he never wanted to be. But the bigger thing he missed was the way I was standing, balanced, alert, hands-free. Not the posture of a frightened old woman, the posture of someone who'd spent decades dealing with liars, cheats, and predators. "Sir, what's your supervisor's name?" I asked, pulling out my phone. I'd like to call and verify this inspection. Panic flashed across his face. That's really not necessary, ma'am. Like I said, just a routine. Then you won't mind if I call the city utilities department to confirm? His whole demeanor changed. The fake politeness dropped away, replaced with frustration and something uglier. Look, lady, I've got other houses to get to. You're wasting my time. There it was. The mask was off. I'm going to ask you one more time, he said, stepping closer to my front door. Are you going to cooperate or not? 25 years of police work teaches you to recognize the moment when someone decides to stop pretending and start threatening. The shift in body language, the change in vocal tone, the way they position themselves to appear more intimidating. This man had just made that shift. And he'd made it with exactly the wrong person. Actually, I said, my voice completely calm, let me save you some time. I held up my retirement badge, the one I'd carried for over 2 decades, the one that still opened doors and commanded respect. His eyes went wide as he read it. Detective Margaret White, Phoenix PD, retired. 25 years investigating fraud, theft, and con artists exactly like you. The color drained from his face as the reality of his situation hit him. He'd chosen to run his scam on a retired police detective who specialized in catching people exactly like him. Now, I continued, let me tell you what's going to happen. That security camera above my door has been recording everything. Your face, your voice, your van's license plate, all of it. He took a step back, finally understanding that his easy target had just become his worst nightmare. I've also been documenting your pattern. Dorothy Mitchell 3 weeks ago, Ruth Patterson last month, Helen Chang 2 months before that. You've been working this neighborhood systematically, targeting women living alone. His eyes darted between me, the camera, and his escape route. I could see him calculating whether to run, try to talk his way out, or double down on the threat. The smart thing, I said, would be to walk away right now, get in that van, and find a legal way to make money. Instead, he made the choice that would define the rest of his life. You think you're smart, old lady? He snarled, dropping the clipboard and reaching into his pocket. Maybe I'll just take what I came for anyway. That was the moment everything changed. 25 years of training kicked in faster than conscious thought. I had his wrist controlled and his arm behind his back before he could fully process what was happening. The knife he'd been reaching for clattered to the concrete. You're under citizen's arrest, I said, applying just enough pressure to keep him controlled. You have the right to remain silent, but I doubt you'll use it wisely. My neighbors across the street had noticed the commotion. Mrs. Johnson was already on her phone, probably calling 911. Mr. Rodriguez had come out of his garage and was walking over to help. This is assault, the fake technician wheezed against my front steps. You can't do this. Actually, I explained, Arizona law allows for citizen's arrest when someone commits a felony in your presence. Attempted robbery with a weapon qualifies. The police arrived within minutes. Professional courtesy meant they took my calls seriously. Officer Martinez, someone I'd worked with years ago, couldn't hide his grin when he saw the situation. Only you, Maggie, he said, shaking his head. Only you would catch a con artist trying to scam the one person in the neighborhood who could arrest him professionally. What happened next changed everything in ways I never expected. The security footage went to evidence, but someone at the department shared it internally as a training example of proper citizen's arrest technique. From there, it spread to social media faster than anyone could contain it. Within 48 hours, retired detective school's fake technician was trending across multiple platforms. The video showed everything: his fake credentials, my warnings, his threatening behavior, and the swift professional takedown when he chose violence. But the real story emerged when they identified him. Marcus Stevens, 34, had been running the same scam across 3 states. He targeted over 200 elderly victims, stealing more than $80,000 from people who trusted his fake uniform and official-sounding story. The video became evidence in multiple cases. Victims from Arizona, Nevada, and California recognized him from the footage and came forward. What started as one attempted scam became the thread that unraveled his entire criminal network. Marcus got 8 years in state prison, plus restitution to all his victims. But his real punishment was becoming the poster child for why criminals shouldn't assume their victims are helpless. The video was used in police training academies, self-defense courses, and community safety presentations. Marcus's face became synonymous with the consequences of underestimating people based on age and appearance. 6 months later, Detective Sarah Lopez from the Fraud Division called with an update that made everything worthwhile. Maggie, you need to know what your video accomplished. Reports of door-to-door scams targeting seniors are down 70% in the tri-state area. Word got out that grandparents might not be as helpless as these predators assumed. Marcus had wanted to steal from one house and ended up making every house in the region safer. His failure became everyone else's protection. Dorothy, my neighbor who'd been scammed initially, got her money back when authorities seized Marcus's assets. She also started a neighborhood watch program, inspired by the knowledge that preparation and awareness could turn potential victims into protected communities. The morning show interviews, magazine articles, and speaking engagements that followed weren't about seeking fame. They were about sending a message that resonated far beyond one attempted crime. Every person deserves to feel safe in their own home. Every criminal needs to understand that assumptions about easy targets can be fatally wrong. And every community becomes stronger when people look out for each other instead of looking the other way. Marcus Stevens learned all of these lessons the hard way, in front of millions of people who watched his moment of supreme overconfidence become a masterclass in consequences. Sometimes the best revenge isn't seeking payback. It's simply letting foolish people face the natural results of their own poor decisions, captured in high definition for the education of everyone else. So, Hidden Hearth family, here's my question for you. Have you ever had someone underestimate you based on your age, appearance, or situation? How did you prove them wrong? Share your stories in the comments below. And if this story of justice and consequences resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Hidden Hearth for more tales of people who discovered that their assumptions about easy targets were dangerously wrong. Thanks for watching, and remember, everyone deserves respect, everyone deserves safety, and everyone deserves the chance to surprise those who underestimate them.